SiriusXM NFL Radio, Zig Fracassi. Smart and entertaining. Ziggy. Oi. What you're walking today, Zig? Patriots, huh? Patriots.
Old school Patriots, Rod.
I love it. They gotta go back to that a little more than they do.
How
Zig,
are you?
let me just say more than I'm great, buddy. I'm great. I'm loving life. We're in a new studio here in South Florida. We're away from Hurricane Helen for today. Everything's good. And actually, here's a good point. Jeremy in Winnipeg, this is where we'll start. Jeremy writes that he says, Teddy Bruschi says Chiefs fans are on the Patriots level with turning on them for blaming the refs for them winning. He said they are the Patriots now. The Chiefs, are they the new Patriots? People starting to hate them?
I think so. I think you're getting a little bit of fatigue from them simply because they are the best team in the NFL. They were like the Patriots in terms of being a dynasty. And people always complain, Rod, about teams getting the calls. Let's deal with the reality here. Teams, whatever sport it is, and especially when they're most successful, they get the calls, period. Now, I would also say that game Sunday night with the Falcons, there were 3 defensive penalties on Kansas City on that final drive. Atlanta simply didn't execute, okay? So the bottom line is, maybe they get calls, but in the end, the Chiefs know how to win. The Falcons still trying to figure things out.
Dude, I love it. That just opened the can on a discussion I didn't plan on having. Like, that I was with the Rough Riders for 20 years. And in that time, we were at the top, but we were also at the bottom because that's a long time. And it's exactly what you're saying. When we were winning, we got the calls. And when we were losing, we didn't. And we just kind of expected it because we knew it because we were bad. What I'm asking you is, why is that, do you think?
Probably because when you've established the street cred, you've established that you are an A-list team, that maybe, and again, people are human. We're all human. Referees are human. Players are human. Let's get that out of the way. But I think in the end, it's the perception of everything. Maybe it is, if this was, the team that was 3-12 might not get that call that the 12-3 team might. So I just think it's always been kind of like that. I think people want to see, the heavy continue to succeed, and then they just decide, maybe at the end they'll decide, hey, we're tired of the Chiefs. Maybe somebody will knock them off this year, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I've never quite known. I just kind of went with it, when I was working in the league. Dean is watching in Green Bay. He says, Happy Football Friday, RP fam. I predict a healthy Jordan Love beats the Vikings on Sunday. Is that up there for your game of the week? Just talk about the Packers and Vikings. It's always special when they get together.
Oh, yeah. Like the great Chris Berman would have called it the Norris division matchup because the reference to hockey there. You always got to love that. I guess he was taking part in the stretch today, talking about Jordan Love, that is. So Matt Guy Lafleur is kind of keeping his, close to the vest in terms of the availability. I know he was limited, at least the early part of the week. So I'm a little bit skittish if he's going to wind up playing or not because, let's face it, you're in this for the long term. You just paid the guy over $50 million a year, so he's going to be your answer. And Malik Willis has been a godsend. Not that he's the next Aaron Rodgers here by any stretch of the imagination, but he's done a nice job with what he's been asked to do in his 2 starts. That's what you call coaching, Rod. Coach to your talent and implement your talent to, be a contributor and not have to do so much. That's why I have a lot of respect for Coach Lafleur. So long answer there. I wouldn't be surprised if Willis starts for a 3rd straight game. Always an intense atmosphere. And you're going against a Vikings team. Kevin O'Connell, to me, early candidate for Coach of the Year. Look what he's done with Sam Darnold. Guy was bouncing around, former 3rd overall pick of the draft. Guy looks like a competent quarterback. See what happens when you have coaching unlike that certain team in North Texas, even though they won last night, some flexibility, some originality. So that's what happens there. It's going to be a great game, I think, on Sunday, Packers and the Vikings.
Yeah, I guess probably the game of the week. But aside, past last night's game was the game of the week for me. But
which I was there, by the way.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. I'm a Cowboys fan. Let me say this.
Oh, I know you are.
I turned on the radio this morning. Well, Mike Florio's ripping Mike McCarthy for clock management at the end of the game and giving the Giants a chance. And I'm like, he finally won. Like, I've been around coaches long enough. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it, and rightly so. I mean, he's never been confused as a terrific game manager. Let's get that out of the way. And the offense was okay last night, but they still don't have that consistent ground game. Defensively, they were able to shore up the run and do a nice job there. And how about the kid that they just called up to the active roster, had the game-clinching interception last night. So it was better, but still a lot of work to do. And now apparently Micah Parsons, who had left earlier in the game with a neck injury, wound up getting hurt late in the game. NFL Network saying it's a high ankle sprain for Micah Parsons.
Can't even enjoy it for 24 hours.
Yeah, you
Cowboys. Well, you know what I'm saying, man? I don't like Mike McCarthy either, but they at least won. I don't know, man. How do you think the Cowboys look at this? There's one thing the way you look at it, and I look at it, and Mike Florio. How do you think the Cowboys looking at it? Because there was a lot of pressure on them going into that game, and they did what they were expected to do, win.
Yeah, and it was. And Dak Prescott showed that he was a very efficient performer last night, and I think they need him, obviously, to take that next step, and they're certainly paying him like that. I'd be real curious. I still think in the end, McCarthy's job is tenuous. And look at these next 3 games that they have to play, Rod. They're at Pittsburgh the following Sunday. You have Detroit the week after. Then I think, I don't know if there's a bye there in San Francisco or San Francisco, then the bye. So they have a brutal upcoming schedule here. And you just have to wonder, are these guys locked in with a coach who, quite honestly, is in the final year of his contract? I don't know if they're going to try to get him fired. That's not what I'm saying, but it makes you wonder if the commitment's truly there. And, of course, the ownership and GM situation has been a clown show for 30-plus years now, but I digress. The point is, I'm not sure if these guys are totally committed into Mike McCarthy.
Yeah. Well, regards the schedule, you don't get better playing cream puffs. So that doesn't scare me. And Micah Parsons got hurt playing the Giants. Like, injuries are going to happen. So bring on the best. It's what makes you better. Iron sharpens iron, as they say. Ziggy, thanks for this, my man. It goes far too fast. But am I going to see you at Super Bowl this year? Have I asked you that? You going to be in New Orleans?
I'm planning on it, but I need your kind of money to be getting down there.
Don't worry. I'm going to have a motorhome. You can stay with me. The group's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, staying in our RV that we're going to have. So I'll save you.
Well, how much room do you have in this thing?
It went from the short bus to the maxi.
What are you going to have?
Don't worry about
it.
I got
the
you
Rod
covered.
Bus. Instead of the Madden Cruiser, it's the Rod Bus.
There you go. Okay, Zig, enjoy the games this weekend.
All right, brother. Thank you.